I'm going to talk about one of the big mistakes that people in business make, and specifically the people who decide that they're going to buy a business. Now, I founded a business called Big Bear Cafe. Now, that sold for $250,000. And that sold only 18 months after I had started it. So I found an empty shop and I thought that side of the street, or where I put it on the street in Glen Huntly, there was no other cafe, or there was one other cafe on the street. However, there was one cafe servicing a really dense community. That was why it was successful, as well as it being a quality venue as well. It made the Age Good Cafe Guide and was a thriving business. However, the mistake that the person who bought the business made was they forgot what they were actually buying. Now, if you're going to buy a business that's successful, hence why you're going to buy it, it's going to be sold with financials and everything's going to be really quite transparent. But if you were to pay the money for that business, you paid me to transition it for 2 weeks, show you how to do everything, and then you went and completely changed it all. There was a beautiful mural on the wall of a beautiful big brown grizzly bear and its cub. And that was painted by Aaron McKenzie. And they painted over it. They turned a beautiful mural on the wall and they just painted it white. They changed the lighting. They removed the beautiful globes in the light, which made it really warm lighting. You know the difference between fluorescent light and warm, glowing orange light? It's a really big difference. One's very clinical, like a hospital light, and the other one's warm and ambient and inviting. They also changed the menu. Now, they changed the whole thing. They actually, what they didn't understand was that they were throwing their money in the bin. And if they had have told me that it was their intention to do what they were going to do, I would have told them not to. And they would have saved their $250,000. So this is a really critical piece of information for anyone who's thinking about buying a business. Are you going to buy that business and fail to understand what you're actually buying? This happens often. You'll see a business that's successful and it'll be bought because on the financials and, this is just going to keep on rolling. And what they go and do, the first thing that businesses generally want to do when they take over is make more money. So the first thing they did, and they did this at Burger Days as well, is they cheapened the product. Like, do you understand why you paid for that loyalty? You paid for those customers because they were coming to get a certain thing. They were coming to get an expectation. And when you cheapen that expectation for your own selfish gain of making more money, it is the most short-sighted, dumbest thing that you can do. And it happens time and time again with businesses. They think that it's the golden goose, that you buy this business and it's going to do this, and you go in there and you start cutting costs. You fail to understand what you've bought. You fail to understand that you've bought the goodwill of the customers who have been going there and expecting a certain quality, expecting a certain standard, and you go and cheapen it. Or worse, you rip out the beautiful interior that was a Heck-a-Guthrie interior. They had no idea really what they were ripping out and what they were doing. And yet they had $250,000 to give me. So it just goes to show you, it's not about having the money. Having money doesn't make you smart necessarily. It can often mean that you're pretty silly as well. So really think about it. One of the biggest mistakes that businesses make is they fail to understand what they're buying.